Hey P2P members, Brian back with you, and today in our daily mobility we're going to work on not a joint but some muscles actually that make up your tongue, and these can impact significantly on neck range of motion, on our flexion or forward bend, and also potentially a squat pattern because it is flexion based. So what I want you to do, just get in a comfortable neutral stance, feet shoulder width or a little bit wider. And we're going to settle into an air squat. So reaching our hands forward to counterbalance the hips, dropping back into a squat. And so I just want you to do a couple of those, get an idea for how smooth and how deep is that range of motion initially. And we'll come back, of course, and reassess after we do some movement. The other ones, get a little closer here, are the neck movement. So I want you to assess what's your right and left rotation feel like, and then what's your lateral flexion or side bend in the head and neck feel like, and then also what is your forward flexion or your chin tuck. So how much space do you have between your chin and your chest with your mouth closed, and is it 2 fingers that you can slide in there? Is it 3 fingers? And for me, it's a little bit more than 2 finger width right now. So get that baseline, and then we're going to start doing some tongue movements. So our first one, we're going to do an isometric or a press of the tongue into the roof of the mouth. And with that pressure pushing up into the hard palate, the roof of the mouth, I want you to reassess your neck range of motion while you're doing that. So get a feel for, did that increase your range of motion? If so, it might be a good drill for you. We could also press up into the roof of the mouth with the tongue and then repeat our neck flexion. So doing the chin tuck. And for me, I've gone from above a 2 finger width to a true 2 finger width. Still room for improvement, but want to see what that range of motion feels like. And then we'll also go into a squat pattern. From the squat pattern, we're going to, again, assist by pushing the tongue into the roof of the mouth. And for me, a little deeper feels a little bit better. So that's a good drill for you, something to keep in mind as you integrate that with maybe your squats, your lunges, some flexion-based movements. Forward bend would be another one to test. If it helps, practice it and apply it. So we want to get the tongue active potentially in other exercises if we see some positive benefits from it. The next one, we're going to push the tongue into the right or the left cheek. So I'll let you pick and then we'll reassess. So let's go into one cheek. You're going to push the tongue that direction and hold it, and then reassess your squat. And that's a good drill for me as well. Hopefully it is for you. If it did make a positive impact, jot it down in your training journal. You can also push the tongue to the opposite cheek and reassess. And with the tongue movements, that deeper squat is feeling more comfortable. So also go into your tongue position right or left, and then let's retest the neck ranges of motion. So that improves flexion for me, driving the tongue to the left. Go the other way. A little bit better there too, but better going the opposite direction. So just make a note, tongue positions obviously can impact on midline stability, and then if our midline's stable, we know the rest of the body follows in terms of potentially improving movement. Let's check the other neck ranges of motion too. So lateral band rotation, obviously it's a little bit tough to talk through the tongue drill, so thanks for bearing with me, reassessing with me. Again, jot down which ones had the highest payoff or highest impact for you from a positive standpoint, with your movement. And then we're going to go into some more kind of active movements with the tongue while we combine that with your reassessment. So first one is clucking. So we're going to pull the tongue from the roof of the mouth down hard. And we're pressing the tip of the tongue to the roof of the mouth and then pulling it down to do that repetitive clucking. And then let's reassess neck range of motion and squat. And for me, these tend to improve neck range of motion, so I know that cranial nerve 12 that controls the tongue, and then those muscles being active is a good thing. Kind of tough to do the chin tuck one, so you could do a few clucks. And then separately reassess that neck range of motion. Let's also do the squat. So we're going to go ahead and go clucking with the squat. A little bit more to coordinate there, but decent reassessment on the squat. So if that was a difference maker for you, again, jot down that note. Good one to come back to. We're also going to work on a hi-hat sound and then tongue circles. So the hi-hat, it's kind of like an S sound, and we're going to go so tongue still presses into the roof of the mouth and pulls down, and we're making that S sound. So let's reassess neck range of motion with that. So decent reassessment. You could also do a few reps and then check your chin tuck or your flexion again. So now I'm having trouble getting 2 fingers in there, so the range of motion has improved even a little bit more. Let's try the squat out while you're doing your coordination-wise, if you're comfortable with it, I should say, while you're doing your hi-hat sound or your S sound. Otherwise, you could separate the two out, do this, then do that. So your hi-hat sound, and then your squat. And the squat is feeling a lot more comfortable for me dropping into depth. So definitely a good drill there. You can also go into tongue circles. So our last drill we're going to work on is almost like you are cleaning the front teeth, in front of those front teeth. And so we're going to make a big circle one direction and reassess. You can circle the other way. And then you could also do one and then the other if the coordination is challenging. I was finding that rotation one way with the tongue circle, going the opposite was actually a challenge. So good to kind of couple these things from a coordination standpoint too. Try your chin tuck as well. After some tongue circles, definitely still a really good improvement for me there. Hopefully you've seen some positive impact from these. Let's try tongue circles with a squat. And go the other direction with the circle. Feels pretty good. So hopefully those were helpful for you. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next daily mobility series.